As I reflect upon the depth of my childhood, I am compelled to confront the stark disparities in how my father treated me compared to my younger siblings. In our humble abode nestled in the countryside, where the walls echoed with both laughter and pain, I endured a childhood marked by unequal treatment and undeserved cruelty. Being the eldest among siblings, my two beloved brothers Daniel and Benjamin, I often found myself shouldering more responsibilities and expectations. While my father Thomas seemed to bestow his affections and praise generously upon my younger brothers, I was met with a different demeanor. The warmth and love I craved were withheld from me, replaced instead by harsh words, unjust reprimands, and an unyielding expectations for perfection. It was though I carried an invisible burdened with the weight of his disappointment and discontent. After my 15th birthday, my father needed me to work part-time to help with the bills. I found part-time work in the supermarket. It meant enduring long bus rides to get there, but I was determined to contribute to the family's finances and gain a sense of independence. Little did I know that this would strain my relationship with my family even further. Instead of being supportive, my father's attitude became increasingly harsh and dismissive. He seemed to overlook my efforts and belittle me at every turn. No matter how hard I worked or how much I tried to please him, it was never enough. The unfairness of it all weighed heavily on my young shoulders. I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world, juggling school and work responsibilities while my peers enjoyed carefree days. It was a lot to handle for someone my age. I longed for understanding, appreciation and love from my father, but it seemed out of reach. I became really close to my co-workers at the supermarket. They felt like a second family to me. We hung out together and enjoyed meals together. My father didn't even pay any attention to what I did after work during the weekends. But then one weekend, everything changed. I finished an afternoon shift. I went out with my co-workers to celebrate a friend's birthday. We had a great time at the restaurant, laughing and having fun. Just so you know, I did tell my father about my plans, but he didn't respond. When the celebration ended, I checked my phone for bus schedules. I was shocked to see a bunch of angry messages from my father. He accused me for being ungrateful and said hurtful things like, "You shouldn't have been born. I'm sick of you looking so much like your dead mother. How could you do this to us?" His words crushed me. I would have preferred a physical injury over the emotional pain I felt. My friends noticed something was wrong and offered to come with me to face my angry father. But I hesitated. I didn't like confrontations. I believed it was better to wait until things calmed down a bit, so we can talk calmly. Jessica, one of my friends, kindly let me stay at her place that night. I was so grateful for her support and accepted her offer. The next day my father found out where I was staying and he was furious. He demanded to know where I was the previous day. And I told him I was at work, which he already knew. But he didn't believe me. He accused me of leaving work early and starting the fire that destroyed our home. I was devastated. My friends immediately came to my defense and showed my father pictures of us together after work, proving I wasn't anywhere near our house. The last time I was in the house was 5:30 a.m, but the fire started around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Despite all the evidence, my father never forgave me. He continued to blame me for the fire, even though I was innocent. It broke my heart. Every time we had a family gathering, he twisted the truth and made hurtful remarks. Even though the experts confirmed it was an accidental fire, we even received insurance to rebuild our home. But as the years passed, the divide between us grew wider. While I tried to build my own path and find my own voice, his resentment and accusations continued to haunt me. His words became like chains, holding me back and stifling my spirit. In the midst of this ongoing tension, a glimmer of hope emerged from an unexpected source. One evening, as I was sitting with my brothers Daniel and Benjamin, reminiscing about our childhood, a secret was unveiled, and that shattered the illusion of my father's accusations. As we delved into our shared memories, Benjamin hesitantly revealed a truth that had been concealed for years. He recounted an incident on that faithful day of the fire. As they were preparing to leave the house, Daniel and Benjamin went to the car. But Benjamin had forgotten his jacket inside. He returned to retrieve it. He stumbled upon a sight that would forever alter our perception of our father. Through the open doorway, Benjamin witnessed our father deliberately setting fire to our beloved home. Shocked and terrified, he retreated quietly, unable to comprehend the motives behind such a destructive act. He carried this burden silently, torn between loyalty to our father and the weight of the truth. At that moment, the realization hit me like a tidal wave. My father's accusations and his blame were all rooted in a web of deceit and manipulation. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty, a moral dilemma emerged. Should we reveal the truth to the authorities, exposing our father's deliberate act of arson? The weight of this decision hung heavy in the air, dividing our family. Both Daniel and Benjamin, torn by their loyalty and fear for the consequences, argued against going to the authorities. They feared the ramifications it would have on our already fragile family dynamic. They pleaded to me to consider the potential fallout, the shattered trust, and the irreparable damage it would cause. But for me, the truth had become a beacon of justice and accountability. It was an opportunity to break free from the cycle of injustice and hold our father accountable for his actions. I could not turn a blind eye to the knowledge that the fire was intentional, that lives could have been endangered. With a heavy heart and a sense of moral obligation, I made the difficult decision to go to the authorities. I understood the potential consequences, the pain it would cause, but the voice within me urged me to seek justice, not only for our family, but for myself and for the truth that had been hidden for far too long. The process was arduous, filled with legal proceedings, investigations, and emotional turmoil. Our family was thrust into the spotlight, the truth exposed to the world. The repercussions were far-reaching, impacting not only our immediate family but also our extended relatives and the community we once called home. As the truth unravelled, our father was confronted with the consequences of his actions. The law took its course and he faced legal ramifications for committing arson and fraud. It was a painful and necessary step towards healing and justice.